Alien Isolation. You know, when I first heard about this game, I was excited, a good deal excited. Shame I wouldn't be able to play it for a couple of years, but it was released in 2014, and I didn't get to play it till about 5 years later. Due to the computer I had at the time wouldn't run it, and this was amazing. Now it's set 15 years after Alien, and actually focuses on Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley, who's been basically the main star of the original Alien movies, or the main character, I should say. Now, Amanda is your typical child who grew up in a situation where a parent disappears, but there's no quote proof that they're dead, no quote proof that they're alive. All she knows is that the ship that her mother was on disappeared. And she gets word from a Weyland Yutani representative, one who's an android, as is discovered, if not known right away, that the black box has been found and is at Sevastopol Station. So they go there seeking the information. Now, this is a space station that's being decommissioned and has actually been bought discreetly by Weyland Yutani. So nobody knows what nobody they aren't aware of this. However, when they get there, they end up getting caught in between in the chaos of what's going on at the station. It has literally turned into a ghost town. People surviving, just trying to survive, because some all hell has broken loose. It seems that the team that found the black box also decided to go to the planet where planetoid, moon, whatever, where they touched down, where the Nostromo had touched down, and in turn brought a xenomorph back. And so now we have a bigger situation. We have Xenos running around. Now, you normally don't get your first sight of it until much later in the game. I managed to get it just before I left the area in that part of the game, in the very beginning of the game. So now we are mixed up in a race for survival, trying to find the black box, trying to get off the station in one piece, because we now have different factions running about. We have people who are willing to listen to you. We have survivors who are, kill or be killed type sentiment. We have androids on the station, working Joes, which at first are neutral. As long as you don't attack them or do something they view as wrong, they won't attack you. After that, you've got to just get out of their line of sight. However, and of course you got of course those Xenos running about. Now after you manage to eject the one prevalent Xeno, and it seems that they're no longer a threat, now the working Joes switch from inconvenience to threat, as is the old the aliens will not attack, apparently, the androids unless they are a perceived threat. And this is something that that is somewhat toyed with in the movies or hinted at the novelizations of the movies. I mean, they can't necessarily use them, but if they are openly aggressive, well, yes, we have to get rid of them. That's the Xeno thinking. Of course, once you get rid of the Xeno, all the androids go into a sort of code Omega or something like that, which they are hunting you down because you are a threat to the specimen. Ripley must work her way down there to the computer main after first trying to find Samuels, who is attempting to communicate with the control with Apollo, which is the central computer. His method fails, however, it helps get you into the get in to see to the Apollo station or into the Apollo. But there's an area around the reactor that has not been checked due to well, it's the reactor area. It's kind of hard to scan down there. So Amanda, after quote disarming herself, has to sneak by more androids and excuse me, must move her, make her way to the Apollo Center, and then down to where more protected androids are. And I'm talking like rubber suits in case of any EMP pulses or electrical discharge. Can't hurt them. Of course, once you get down there and then are able to get weapons again, then you get through to the reactor and you find the hive. Yep, we have a hive. It means quote shooting. It's time to now really start with a weapon. I personally would keep the flamethrower handy at this point. Those get rid of eggs quickly. And you have to go in that and start the reactors. Set them up for overload and then purge the whole reactor. And you almost get rid of all of them, but there's some that manage to get out of the nest before it goes, Eventually, you make your way through and get off the station. And needless to say, it ends with Ellen, of course, with Amanda floating in space in an EVA suit. Now, this was a brilliantly designed game. because they were using Alien, the first movie, as reference for design. Hence, you see a lot of reminiscent setups there for everything. And I love that. That is a brilliant, brilliant design move because it adds to the immersion of the game. And as you are not, you're not going to have a lot of weaponry. You shouldn't have a lot of weaponry. You have to rely more on stealth and use the weapons when you need to. And this is actually wise because, well, when aliens are about, the last thing you want to do is make excess noise. Let's just say, although you can make craft items, which is another nice thing, because again, it that's what they had to do in the first movie. They had to create makeshift weapons. They had to create devices to act, to help them if they had that case. So it was fun. It was great, a great addition, and it expands on the story in an area that basically covers a gap of 57 years. And that's one thing I like about it. It sets things up. And I look back at it. And, I go in thinking, well, Amanda Ripley has to survive because when Ellen Ripley is awoken, found and awoken 57 years after the events of Alien, she finds out that, one, it's been 57 years, two, her daughter is now dead, and according to information about that, Amanda Ripley got married. And at least I'm assuming she got married. But therein lies another difficulty, because that was information provided by the company. So, and of course, there was a sequel game made, but it's definitely nothing like the first one. Survival, and it's more or less it's got a Friday night, Five Nights at Freddy's vibe to it, and I think it's a mobile game too. Come to think of it, anyhow, I've actually read and I've read the adaptation of this, and it gives a little bit more story, a little bit more background to Amanda growing up, what she had probably gone through, and memories, and that due to all this. And it's such a brilliant game. It redeems the game series of, well, the Alien type games due to a long line of some iffy releases. Don't get me wrong, Aliens vs. Predator 2010 is a fun game. I played through it for the channel. And no, when you see this, I'm still playing through it. But when you hear this, I'm still playing through it. Um, there have been games put with the Aliens branding that were disasters, like Colonial Marines. That game was a disaster. This one was done right. They put a lot of care into this. They used uh, they used clips from the movie, and I think they did as much as they could to have the actual stars from from the movie Alien record things for logs to find, and that's another challenge in and of itself. And I do hope to replay it one day, just so I can try and hunt down all these audio logs, all the ID tags. I mean, I played it pretty much blind. I mean, I'll say this: you can watch people play through a game like this one, and you'll have an idea of what you have to do. But when you get into when you're doing it, you can make mistakes. You can screw things up. I mean, I did something that in turn changed a little bit because I did something that I didn't do something I was supposed to do according to the scripted of events. Uh, I had an easier time in some sections, and some characters just didn't know how to react. I mean, I because I didn't do that, characters didn't move from a position that they were supposed to because since I didn't trigger the event that would release the alien into that section, they're like, you know, it just threw them for it throws things for a loop. But this was a very good game, very exciting, and like I said, you could watch people play this, and maybe you catch on something that you didn't see someone else do or avoid. I mean, I watched Markiplier play it, and he just didn't seem to duck into the quote lockers in one very tough and trying section. I did, and I managed to avoid the alien, which was a bit amazing to me. But that's all I'm going to say about Alien Isolation. It was a great game. It's something everyone, especially if you're a fan of the Alien franchise, it's something you need to experience because it really puts you in there. As always, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere. Hope you enjoyed this little retrospective. Give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Find other retrospectives, other games I'm working my way through, other projects I'm working on. And until next time, take care. Have fun. Bye all.